Hi. So the last two videos I made that are clowning on Republicans both got like way more views than I usually get. So based on that, today I had no choice but to talk about old video game commercials, right? That's the natural evolution of things.
You mean you haven't played it yet? We can play it on my Nintendo Entertainment System. It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad.
So today, in the year of our Lord 2021, I, Justice Korsgaard, am not really a gamer. You know what I mean? There are a couple series that I follow, but I'm not, grinding 12 hours a day with the squad trying to get a double kill bot lane. I don't know what any of these things mean, because, as I said, not into games, really. However, I had a weird phase when I was like 10 years old where I was obsessed with video game history. Like,
trucks? No thank you. Dinosaurs? Whatasaurs? No, sorry. I'm into video games that came out 20 years before I was born.
Very weird, I know, but it's all true. I even sung the song Pac-Man Fever at a school talent show. That's true. But yeah, during that phase of my life, I remember even then getting a kick out of watching old commercials from the 80s and 90s, specifically ones about video games. It was a really cool window into the past that had a completely different aesthetic and feel than advertising today. So I decided, let's take a break from anti-vaxxers and Ben Shapiro and look at a couple of these. Because these are fun and they don't make me want to walk into the ocean. I think one of the ones that best exemplifies how weird these are is this one for Pole Position. Like, it starts out with a family that is supposed to be conveyed as like a real boring family, like just not a family that you would like.
Well, Muffy, Buffy, Biff Jr. and I are going on our Sunday drive.
Oh, no, you're not. You're gonna play Pole Position!
And then, naturally, a giant hand comes out of the sky, picks the family up from their car, and dumps them all into race cars, and they start racing. The family starts racing. What the fuck? As I said, that is just like the perfect example. You do not see commercials like that in marketing today. It feels like from a different world. Commercials from that era, or at least the ones that I've seen, just don't feel as cynical as the fucking Geico Gecko today or whatever. I mean, they still were. They still were trying to sell a product, but like, I don't know, they just hit me in a different way that made me feel like they were actually trying more. Like this one where it shows how old people and young people come together because of the Game Boy. Like, what?
Some respect.
Have some prunes.
Why, I ought to take this and just give it one.
With new games like Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball, Tetris Plus, and Donkey Kong Land 3, the world is a better place.
Nice earrings.
Nice hearing aid.
What?
You know, maybe that's how I can reconcile with all these old Republicans and anti-vaxxers. We just need to play Game Boy together. Except I wouldn't want to be in close enough proximity to them because they're probably carrying the fucking
blam blah blow blow variants because they won't get vaccinated.
Sorry. Video game commercials. There's this other Game Boy one that's also really funny. It starts with like this badass Terminator RoboCop type character.
They said it wasn't humanly possible.
And then he teleports in a kid.
All the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand.
Did he teleport that kid in from the kid's house? Did he create that kid out of thin air? These are the questions. And then what's gonna happen? Is this kid gonna have like an epic lightsaber battle with this guy or what? No, this kid is going to play Tetris on Game Boy against this RoboCop Darth Vader character. Of course, because that's every kid's fantasy. To battle a intimidating villain, but only via the Game Boy, via Tetris on the original Game Boy. That's the dream. Like, despite how much I love these, the thought process behind them confuses me sometimes. Like, there's this one for The Legend of Zelda on NES with just, like, this wacky guy.
Zelda! After rocks! Which way to go?
That's it, it's just like a wacky guy telling you about the game. Like, okay, definitely unique, but, it's a weird choice for, The Legend of Zelda, the fantasy RPG, no? Can't help but wonder how, like, the pitch meeting for this commercial went. Alright, so we need a commercial for The Legend of Zelda, this new action fantasy RPG on the Nintendo. What do you have for me? Oh, you're gonna love this. So are you familiar with the actor Jim Carrey? Oh yeah, I know him, that's a good idea. So we could put Jim Carrey in the land of Hyrule, and he could like interact with fantasy creatures, and it would be like related to the game, but also featuring a famous face. No, not literally Jim Carrey. Just like a guy who like kind of has the same shtick. Just like a wacky guy who goes like, woo, and makes like weird faces and noises. That's what I'm thinking, that's what I'm imagining. But he would be in Hyrule, right? In the land of Zelda, because that's the game we're selling. No. I think he'd just be like, you know, in a room, I don't like any room, and he's just kind of describing the Legend of Zelda game. Okay. Like just describing the game. Just describing the game. Like nothing crazy. Just, I mean, he's crazy, he's wacky, but like he's just describing the game. It's not, yeah, I don't know why we're thinking. Kids love wacky guys, we'll get a wacky guy. So basically, we're just gonna have a wacky guy describing the game in a dark room, and his environment will have nothing to do with the aesthetic of the game he's advertising. Like basically, this guy could be advertising any game, and he just so happens to be advertising The Legend of Zelda. I fucking love it, man. You're hired. You're already hired. You get a raise. I don't know.
Zelda!
The Legend of Zelda.
But yeah, there's just like a weird logic to a lot of them. I think it's just because videos of monkeys make me laugh so hard, but there's this one for Donkey Kong Land 2 with these monkeys singing, real monkeys. There are weirdly a lot of old video game commercials that use monkeys, mostly because there were a lot of Donkey Kong games, but regardless of how weird these all are, there's still like a certain sincerity to them that I feel you don't get in advertising today. Like, look at this Atari one that's just about how families all around the world are playing Atari and it brings people together.
Atari would like to thank you for taking us into your homes. We wish you all a happy holiday.
Like that's legitimately kind of sweet. And then there's this Christmas one about the E.T. video game.
Only from Atari. Made especially for systems from Atari. The video game that lets you help E.T. get home. Just in time for Christmas. Happy holidays.
That is so creative and cute too. Maybe if they put as much effort into the actual E.T. game as they did the commercial for the E.T. game, the video game market wouldn't have crashed in 1983, resulting in them having to bury copies of the E.T. game in the New Mexico desert. That's a real thing. That is a thing that happened. Look it up. What? Another thing that was in a lot of commercials for this era are original songs written specifically about the commercial, like, that are about the product, right? And maybe it's just me, but they put like a weird amount of effort into these songs. Like, they sound really good. Like, there's this commercial for the video game Super Breakout, and there's a song about the game, and they're making it sound like man, it's like an epic song. Like, they're making it sound like Super Breakout is the greatest thing to ever happen to humanity.
Did you try Breakout with a moving wall? Did you try Breakout with an extra ball? It's what fun's all about. It's Super Breakout.
It's the gateway into the next stage of technological advancement. I also love that there was ever a time where a game having more color was a big deal.
If you liked Breakout, you'll love Super Breakout. It's got more color, more sound, and more action.
Like, are the graphics better? No, they're still blocks, you fucking idiot, but there's more color, okay?
And naturally, it's from Atari.
Have you played Atari today?
There's another commercial for this wireless controller for the NES, I think.
Get the power to move with the Acclaim wireless remote for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
And it's so funny because, like, the kid's playing the game and then a character from the game comes out of the screen and starts fighting him. But of course, since the kid has the wireless controller, he can, like, walk around the room and do flips and dodge the guy's fights because the guy came out of his TV screen. Yeah, I don't think that the draw of a wireless controller is because you need to like be doing squats and flips around the room while you're holding it. The draw of a wireless controller is so if you pull the controller, it won't pull the console with you and then unplug from the wall, and it's a whole fucking Pola-palooza. Pola-palooza, yeah, I said that, I don't know, the video's not scripted, give me a break, okay? Give me a break.
Get the Acclaim remote, the power to move.
Another weird thing I've noticed is that, like, before we had a sort of agreed upon interpretation of what Mario and Luigi are supposed to look like, these commercials had to figure out what this would look like in person. Like, sure, Mario wears like black suspenders and a fedora maybe, and Luigi is kind of chubby too, and like, I don't know.
Mario, where are you?
Mario Brothers, new from Atari.
Though both of those are more understandable interpretations of the characters than...
First, of course, is Mario, who will be played by Chris Pratt. He's so cool.
I was already writing this video when that news was announced, and perfect. I could just mention that while we're here.
It's me, Mario.
Also, like, Kirby's first game was on the Game Boy, which only had graphics in black and white, so the first Kirby commercials, he was white.
And Kirby from Nintendo.
I guess Kirby's like that one lady. He's, like, transracial. You know who I'm talking about?
Are you an African-American woman?
I identify as black.
You identify as black. Let me put a picture up of you in your early 20s, though. And when you see this picture, is this an African-American woman?
Yeah, that's Kirby. Cancel Kirby. That's the joke. Cancel Kirby. Another funny thing of watching old commercials is see people who became famous later, like with their first jobs.
I've done terrible things too.
Oh, yes! Cut back! Oh, yes, yes! Introducing Lynx from Atari.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Like, there's actually this commercial for an old jungle video game with Jack Black.
Just last night, I was lost in the jungle with Pitfall Harry, surrounded by giant scorpions and man-eating crocodiles.
That one's extra weird because now Jack Black is in a series of movies about a jungle-themed video game.
Oh my god, you guys, there's like literally a penis attached to my body right now.
Where I think he's wearing a pretty similar outfit. That was probably on purpose, but like that's a really cool Easter egg, I think. Not all these commercials are quite as endearing though. A lot of them feel like they were pandering to kids, but when I see something that's pandering to kids, I'm used to it pandering to kids now.
It is testing week and it's time to slay all day.
Yeet! Stay woke, be on fleek, and get that Gucci breakfast.
Goals!
So it's really interesting to see something that's clearly trying to cater to kids of the 80s who had like a completely different culture.
If you can keep on top of these California games, you'll know you're incredible. 6 great Front of the Sun games for your Nintendo.
Like, yeah, I know the 80s were weird, but I don't think kids looked like that. Really, that extreme. Come on, man.
It's like the real deal.
But yeah, old 80s commercials, specifically ones for video games, it's just like this fun little world that I like to escape to from time to time because it just feels like it wasn't that long ago, but it feels so different in the way they marketed these things compared to now. And it's just, yeah, it's really interesting and fun and cute, and it makes me forget that the world around me is on fucking fire. You were ending on a good note, Justice, but then you had to remind everybody that things aren't great. Let's watch another commercial with monkeys to end it on. Come on.
Something wild is coming. Something you wouldn't expect. Donkey Kong Country 3 on Super NES.
Perfect.